Welcome to another video review here at our YouTube channel, and today I'm going to talk about scope mounts again, this time about Tier 1 Picatinny rings. So, as you probably know, Tier 1 is a British or a company from United Kingdom that produces tactical accessories and especially tactical scope mounts. They're most famous for this. They started their business in 2008. I remember when I first encountered them at EVA, I think. They still had an old name. They were called Third Eye Tactical. They switched the name afterwards and they grew substantially since the beginning until now. The reason for it is that their products are really of high quality, and I firmly believe that they're becoming one of the major or the biggest players in this market of tactical premium scope mounts. So we are talking about their series of Picatinny rings, which are suitable normally for Picatinny rails. The reason for it is that they have a recoil stopper that fits the slot of the Picatinny rail, so around 5 millimeters, a little bit less. And you shouldn't confuse them with their tactical line of Picatinny rings. If you see them side by side, you can easily see that tactical rings, tactical series of their rings, they have 6 screws on top, and normal Picatinny rings only have 4. So they are a little bit, they're not as wide at this biggest point. So honestly speaking, they are around 19 millimeters wide, while their tactical series is much more bulkier and it's 26 millimeters wide. But let's talk about their normal Picatinny rings. So they are more like semi-tactical. They go on either on hunting rifles or on some compact light tactical rifles, and they come in all possible dimensions. They start with 1 inch, then 30 millimeters, 34 millimeters. If I go like that, 1 inch is missing. 30 millimeters, 34 millimeters, 35 millimeters, 36 again is missing on our table, and then 40 millimeters. The reason why they are missing on our table at the moment is that we are waiting for another shipment from them, and they're really busy because there is so much demand for their products. Well, people obviously like to buy high quality. The material used for this line of rings is 7075 T6 aluminum alloy. This aluminum alloy is known as aircraft grade aluminum. So it's a really high quality material, and they are, as you can see, anodized to black color. They are completely smooth on the inner surface, so when you are mounting them you shouldn't use anything between the scope and the rings. You see the design is 50-50, 50% above, 50% below, tactical, classical, not tactical, classical design. You can also see that all the rough edges are nicely done, so fit and finish is almost superb on these rings. You can also see the alignment, notch, and so on. They're really nicely made. Many years ago, these rings, like all other mounts, came with titanium screws. They changed this back to normal steel screws because they saw that titanium is not the best option, even though it's really good for the marketing purposes. Still, if you mount these mounts correctly, nothing can go wrong. There is 2 years warranty on them, but honestly speaking, we've never gotten back any of their products with any kind of warranty case, and we are selling them for many years already. And also, quite honestly, it's hard to imagine that anything could go wrong because the quality of production of Tier 1 products is really high. All of these rings also have inserted bubble level. So this ring should be the rear one towards the shooter, so that you're always able to see what's happening with the bubble and you're able to align the scope properly to shoot on longer ranges. If we talk about torque values, I'm a big fan of Tier 1 putting the torque values on the rings themselves here, because this is something what most other manufacturers are missing, and they have written really nicely 2 Newton meters for the screws on the rings and 4 Newton meters for the base screw for this one. Honestly speaking, even if you tighten the base screw a little bit more, let's say up to 5 Newton meters, it should still work. You shouldn't over tighten them. And with scope, with rings on the screws on the rings, which go around the scope tube, majority of producers, they say that all the way up to 2.3 Newton meters is still okay. But it will work also with 2 Newton meters, nothing will go wrong. They're really nicely made, so there is a lot of surface, contact surface between the scope and the rings. If we talk about the variations, so they are produced in different heights. 1-inch rings are produced only in one single height. This is BH build height of 7 millimeters. 30 millimeter rings are built in 4 different heights: 8, 12, 16 and 21 millimeters. And this is the BH. The build height is here. See, this one is 16. I would just need to recalibrate. Then 34 millimeter rings are built in 3 different heights: 9 millimeters, 40 millimeters and 18 millimeters. 35 millimeter rings with a diameter of 35 are built only in one height, 9 millimeters. The same applies for 36 millimeter rings, also only one height, 9 millimeters. And then 40 millimeter rings for Swarovski and IR scopes, mostly IR, honestly speaking. DS scopes are not mounted as commonly in these rings than IR scopes. These are built in 2 different heights, in 11 and 16 millimeters. The tier 1 is, I would say, labeling all of these heights as low, medium, high, extra high. This is something what I will come at the end of this review when I come to the summary, that we needed to measure all the BH build heights and then wrote them in millimeters on our web page, while they just say low, medium, high and extra high. They're only available normally in this matte black color, which is again okay. Okay, so I think we can go to the summary, to the likes and dislikes, and I will start with the, but before I go this, I forgot, they come in a really nice box, and together with the, you get Torx, this inserts for the screwdriver, which the bigger one is for the base screw, and the smaller one is for these screws on the rings. Really nice touch. This is something what you're not getting with most of other rings, and also the packing is perfect. Okay, now we can go to the summary, to the likes and dislikes of this series. So if I start with dislikes, there are not many, honestly speaking, there are really not many dislikes. If I say one dislike, would be that they are not giving you, when you're looking on their website and when you're looking on the declaration, you see here on their declaration is just 30 millimeters high. So they're not giving the millimeters of height on this ring, so we needed to figure it out ourselves. And this low, medium, high and extra high range, it's not the best one if you're really wanting to put a setup together where the scope comes as low as possible, because you're not able to calculate what you need. So this is the first thing. The second thing is that if you heard when I listed all the BH heights, they're really scattered. It's like 1-inch rings low are 7 millimeters high. 30 millimeter rings are 8 millimeters high when they're low. 34, 35, 36, they're all medium, and that means 9 millimeters. So all of the things, they change. And with 40 millimeters, the medium is 11 millimeters. So it's really, really confusing. And again, what's also confusing, let's say for the 35 and 36 millimeter rings, you're getting only one single height, and that's 9 millimeters. So in my opinion, it would be much smarter if they would have 8, 12, 16, 21 heights for all variations of the diameters, so that you know which height is possible to buy. It would be much, much better. And honestly speaking, this is my only dislike. I think that they should produce more variations on, let's say, 35 and 36 millimeter rings, and they should all be in the same values. If you say low and you mean 8 millimeters, that means that all low rings, no matter if it's 30 millimeters or 40 millimeters or 35 millimeters, it should be 8 millimeters of BH height, so this height here, which is now 9. So this is my only dislike, honestly speaking. Now let's go to the likes. The build quality. The fit and finish is just superb. It's really, really nice. Durability. Torque values written on the rings. This is something what others should also do, but they're not doing. So really nice. The packing. Also the lightness. Even though they're made of high quality materials and so on, but they're quite, you see, robust and so on, but they're really light. You can use them on a hunting rifle without a problem. So a lot of things to like and really not much to dislike. And honestly speaking, the problem which I'm talking about, the build heights, we already solved it on our webpage. If you go on our webpage, you get the dimensions in millimeters. So you really know what you're buying and you are able to calculate which version of the ring is the right one for you. So thank you for watching. I hope you found this video useful. If I forgot something, if I did any mistakes, please use the comments below. And if you have any kind of video requests, again, send us an email or use the comments in the comment section.